According to Geshe Kelsang Gyatso in Venerable Atisha, Atisha's work of spreading Bodhidharma in India and Tibet. Atisha was like a king, the crown ornament of Indian Buddhists, and was regarded as a second Buddha. Atisha, well versed in both Mahayana and Hinayana, earned respect from teachers in both traditions through his extensive studies. Ironically, Atisha's life can, in many senses, be directly parallel to Siddhartha's life. Both Atisha and Siddhartha were born into wealthy royal families. Both held a strong desire for knowledge and chose to leave their families in their quest for a greater knowledge. As a result of their extensive studies under various teachers and determination to reach enlightenment, both became great teachers in the Buddhist religion. According to Wikipedia, Atisha is most commonly thought to have been born in 980 AD, although some believe that it was 982, and that he died in 1054. Others believe he was born in 980 and died in 1052. It is unanimously recognized that Atisha lived to the age of 72. The disagreement on exact dates points to the fact that within the Buddhist historical tradition, the lifespan of a significant individual is much more important than the actual years during which a life is fulfilled. The reason that scholars push towards the years 980 AD to 1052 AD is that during the year 980 AD, there was a large struggle over power in Bengali politics as the recurrent Pala dynasty took control of the area, getting rid of the current Cambodia leaders. The exact location of Atisha's birth is also another factor in which scholars disagree upon. The possible birthplaces include many different regions in South Asia. Despite the differences in exact locations, the general area of Atisha's birth is the same, the historically potent region bridging the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. Born into royalty, Atisha was the middle of three children. The young prince, Sri Garba, the monk, Vidyachara, is the second prince, Charagarba, who became the illustrious master Atisha. His early childhood home was a palace named the Golden Banner Palace. The Golden Banner Palace itself was extravagantly bordered by countless homes, multiple bathing pools, many woods full of tala trees, 720 glorious gardens, 363 linking bridges, some 25,000 golden banners, 13 golf roofs, and 1,000 noblemen. Atisha's father was known as King Kalyana, the Good, of Bengal, and his mother, Queen Prabhavita, the Radiant. He was given the name Chadragarba by his parents, meaning the essence of the moon. According to Doma, the Buddhist tradition, the moon stands for the means to achieve wisdom, which could explain Atisha's yearning and decision for the monastic life. Atisha's birth was seen as an auspicious or promising episode. According to Amni Sakar in the Mysteries of Vajrayana Buddhism, Atisha's birth was known as a chosen birth, chosen by Atisha himself. According to Doma, at the time of Atisha's birth, flowers rained down, including a shower of blue lotus flowers descending on his mother's lap. It is also said that a rainbow canopy appeared, the gods sang hymns bringing happiness and joy to the people. Ironically, the occurrences surrounding Atisha's birth are loaded amid many images of the Buddhist idea of perfect enlightenment. Despite the differences, Atisha's birth brought certain happiness to sediment beings, and his birth directly relates to the Buddhist tradition of dedicating one's life to the uplifting and enlightenment of all conscious beings. Atisha was sheltered for the first year and a half of his life, cared for by 8 nurses in the royal palace. It wasn't until his first and second years of life that Atisha's parents finally exposed him to the public on a visit to the local temple in Kamalapuri. It was in Kamalapuri that Atisha's potential as an astonishing religious and spiritual leader originally surfaced. According to Wikipedia, people from all over the area congregated to observe his appearance. Realizing their reaction, Atisha prayed to be the best he could be to gratify his followers' every need. And even at this young age, Atisha prayed to be able to take the robes of a spiritual seeker who has renounced family life, never to be proud, and always to have compassionate sympathy and loving concern for others. According to Sonem, although Atisha's family enjoyed fabulous wealth, he wasn't impressed with worldly goods and desired to live as a monk even from an early age. Atisha continued to work alone on worshiping the holy object both inside and surrounding the temple, fully committing himself to religious pursuit. Ironically, Buddhist texts and historical accounts point to a notion that even at 18 months old, Atisha was a spiritually advanced and relatively enlightened individual. At this young age, Atisha's spiritual proficiency was shown through his kindness towards others and non-attachment to his family, social life, and situation. Mirroring the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, Atisha is portrayed as possessing an innate aptitude for quick learning in many areas and the practice of Dharma for such a young individual. Atisha, eager to follow in his footsteps, studies the scripts of all the Buddhist schools, although he refused to side with any one school. Atisha had become well-versed in astrology, writing, and Sanskrit by the age of 3. And at 10 years old, he was talented enough to differentiate between the Buddhist and non-Buddhist doctrines. At a young age, Atisha was already teaching and receiving instruction from monks from the famous Vikramasila monastery. Atisha studied under Sita until 18 years of age, basing his primary studies on the scriptures. Ultimately, Atisha would develop into a master of the teachings of Mahayana, Hinayana, and Vajrayana Buddhism through the direction of over 100 different instructors. Atisha yearned to pursue Sakyamuni Buddha's path because he realized it was the only way to enter the gate to nirvana and unite with the creator of all. Over time, Atisha's desire to enter in the monastic lifestyle strengthened, however. Being the brightest child in the family, his parents declared Atisha the natural successor to power. In turn, at the age of 11, his parents instigated the decorative courtship and matrimonial provisions in an attempt to force Atisha to select a bride among his beautiful young women of nobility. Atisha rejected his parents' plan, which to Buddhist scholars showed his level of commitment for religious pursuit and enlightenment. The night before his wedding, Atisha witnessed a significant encounter with the Vajrayana goddess Tara, who would remain with Atisha during the remainder of his life as a guiding spirit. In Atisha's dream, Tara revealed that he had been a devout monk in his past lifetimes. She went on to advise Atisha that he should not be overwhelmed by the lure of ephemeral desires in the world. Tara uses the example of a goat and an elephant to represent the different types of people in life. She said that if he was born into a normal middle-class family, he would be like a goat trapped in quicksand, and relatively easy to rescue. She warned Atisha that because of his upbringing and royal blood, he must not get caught up with the pleasures in the world because with his background, he would be like an elephant, a larger and more difficult to extract. Tara's metaphor is illuminating because as an elephant's enormous weight prevents it from escaping the mud, so is the prince's wealth and extravagance would prevent him from spiritual awakening. With this dream in front of Atisha's thoughts, Atisha abandoned his family, royal status, and life as he knew it. Telling his family who wished to go on a hunting excursion, Atisha left his familiar setting with 130 horsemen in search of a spiritual teacher. While on his jungle excursion, Atisha encountered the holy Brahmin Jatari, a well-known educator and Buddhist recluse. Jatari taught Atisha 3 things. 1. To take refuge in the 3 jewels of Buddha. 2. Dhamma and Sangha. 3. Bodhicitta, which is described as the mind-oriented aspiration towards enlightenment with the intent of benefiting all sentient things. While teaching Atisha the principle of Mahayana Buddhism, Jatari directed him to visit Nadala, where he could again receive the Bodhisattva vows and teachings. Atisha's achievement of the wisdom to perceive emptiness is extremely important. In fact, he became conscious of pure human nature and the fundamental freedom inherent to every sentient being's existence, a freedom exclusive of physical attachments and mental bondage. During this point in his learning, according to Geshe Nawang Darhi, he was next directed to the great Vidyakolkila, and then onto the famous Advihutya. Despite the fact that Advihutya agreed to tour the youth, he requested that Atisha first consult the Black Mountain Yogi. When Atisha met the Black Mountain Yogi, he was tested in many different situations. In one situation, the Black Mountain Yogi heaved a lightning bolt at Atisha when he was initially approaching. When Atisha passed the yogi's multiple tests, he was granted 13 days of training in the Hivjara lineage and gave Atisha the code name Indestructible Wisdom. After